The chapter Chayei Sara, its central theme of the opening part of the chapter, most of the chapter, is the death of Sarah. Sarah is the wife of Abraham. Together they built a home, a beautiful home, affected thousands and thousands of people, and in essence are really the parents of monotheism, of faith. The modern world would not be the world that we know it if we did not have Abraham and Sarah. Two people, a couple, who paid the price and embarked on a journey to defy paganism, to defy duality, and to embrace a higher unified God, what we call Hashem Echad, the one God. And more importantly, they committed to teach it to their children. So this story and this chapter is the story of Sarah's death. But here we find a very fascinating and again a paradoxical element. The name of the chapter, the opening of the chapter, is Chayei Sara, which means the life of Sarah. Now the life of Sarah actually was documented in last week's chapter and 2 weeks ago. So why would a chapter that talks about her death? It opens up. And these are the 127 years of the life of Sarah, meaning a eulogy for her passing. So why would a chapter that talks about her death be named the life of Sarah? Then the continuing story is how Abraham goes out to find and search for a burial place for Sarah. He finds Hebron. Hebron, that till today is in the news, is the Ma'arat HaMachpelah, the special cave in Hebron, in Israel, where Sarah is buried, and later Abraham was buried. Tradition says that Adam and Eve are buried there, Isaac and Rebekah would be buried there, and Jacob and Leah would be buried there. And then it continues how after she died, Sarah, Abraham sends his messenger to go find a shidduch, to go find a soulmate for Isaac. So the theme of this chapter is all about her death and the events that happened subsequent to her death. Yet the chapter is called The Life of Sarah. Why? So I remember once being invited to give a eulogy at the passing of a friend in Manhattan, and I wasn't sure what I was going to speak about. So as I was driving up the West Side Highway, I saw a big billboard. And the billboard gave me my theme for my speech. What was it? It was an advertisement for Newports cigarettes. And it had these two most beautiful faces you've ever seen, smiling, with the whitest teeth you've ever seen. I don't think anybody has such white teeth. And flashing across the West Side Highway. And then the words were, alive with pleasure. But of course there's the box down on the bottom left that says that smoking is hazardous to your health, will kill you, carbon monoxide, dangerous for pregnant women, all that. Which is of course one of the paradoxes of our modern society. That they're selling something and then they tell you it's going to kill you, Anyway, so I said to myself, it's interesting how this world works. Here you have these two beautiful, everyone wants to look like this couple, which is why they advertise them. You want to have teeth like that, but they're not showing you what their teeth really look like after smoking so many years. They don't also show you an x-ray of their lungs. They just, the image, and they say, not only you're alive with pleasure. And I realized the answer to my question about Chayei Sara, the life of Sarah. What is life? What does it mean to be alive with pleasure? So a doctor would tell you life means biological life. You can breathe, you can walk, you can talk, you can do business, you're alive. But I know many people who do all of that and they say they feel like zombies. They don't feel emotionally alive, they don't feel intellectually alive, they don't feel spiritually alive. The Torah, in its succinct way, in one word, says you want to know the life of someone, you have to look at what impact they had after they passed away. Very powerful people have lived in this world, in history. And after they passed, many people were very happy that they were gone. Their impact was only while they were around, and they drove fear into other people's hearts. Then there are people who were so beloved, and their impact was so powerful, that they don't have to be there physically to continue to influence us. You want to really see what life is. You can't look at the moment, because you can have someone who's holding a gun to your head, and they're in control. That doesn't mean that they're powerful. It just means at the moment they have power. Here's Sarah, someone that lived thousands of years ago, and we still talk about her with such love. Our mother Sarah, because her inspiration that she left, the impact she had on Abraham, on her son Isaac, was such that it did not die when her body died. So the Torah is telling us, you want to truly see life, you have to look at the spiritual life of a person. A spiritual life lives on. That's why it says in the Talmud that the wicked, even in their lifetimes, are called dead, And the righteous, even in their deaths, they're called alive. Because life is not about just biological life. It's not just a heart beating and a brain functioning. It's about the emotional, spiritual, psychological influences you have in life. And as the Talmud says, as his children are alive, so too he is alive. That is the secret of Jewish survival as well, that thousands of years later, we live by the ideals, by values of people that lived so long ago. They are essentially alive through us. If they leave no values, then of course they die. And they were dead even when they lived. So in a sense, the Romans, the Egyptians, the Persians, the Babylonians, there's no one claiming to be their grandchildren, because they were powerful empires at the time, but it was just momentary. It was just a temporary experience. So when you want to know Chayei Sara, the life of Sarah, you begin to recognize it the day she passes away and the impact that she had once she's not there physically.